For all the Fandanglers out there who know that the heart and soul of Retro Fandango is all about truth and honesty. It's all about being real and brave. And you may not like what you hear, but you know that behind it is love and passion and a quest for the bold truth that many are afraid to face. When the Cartridge Club needed a spin-off show, Kevin and Richard got together, didn't you know? With a rock and roll edge into hearts of gold. But that's Retro Fandango, that's Retro Fandango. When it's Android over iPhone and you can keep your stupid amiibo and always bashing on Nintendo. But that's Retro Fandango, that's Retro Fandango. Kevin is ranting on the world revolves around Mars, and Richard's shopping for Laserdisc players instead of VCRs. Rambox is the voice of reason, and Kevin is never wrong. And you better watch what you say on the show, or it just might end up in a song. And when it's Android over iPhone, and you can keep your stupid amiibo, and always bashing on Nintendo. Well, that's Retro Fandango, that's Retro Fandango. When Kevin is saying the NES Classic is lame, I got one thing to say, Kevin, ding 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 shame. And Richard finally watched A Wedding Singer, but it came up flat. And where Star Trek is better than Star Wars, what's up with that? And when it's Android over iPhone, and you can keep your stupid amiibo, and always bashing on Nintendo, that's Retro Fandango, that's Retro Fandango. I'm so glad you guys started this show. Like Mario to Luigi, I consider you guys bros. And in my heart, there's an admiration and love that overflows. Well, that's Retro Fandango, that's Retro Filmdango. Thanks, Retro Fandango. Wow!
Yeah, can you see me?
Yep.
No?
See you, I can hear you. I can see you munching. You're eating this time.
It was a quiet snack.
What did you get?
Oh, I got some raisins.
Oh, I
kinds
love
of
raisins.
Yeah.
I love raisins. People hate raisins, but I am pro raisin.
They're nature's candy.
Yeah. Tasty.
Oh, raisins are awesome. I can see when you're a kid, you know, raisin isn't going to be much competition for a chocolate bar or something. Raisins are all right.
No, I always like them. I even like them in baking. People hate them in things.
Oh, they're delicious.
I'm pro raisin in things.
Oatmeal raisin cookies are like one of the best kinds of cookies you can get. Those are the ones you were munching on.
There were no raisins in it because Sarah is definitely not pro raisin.
Oh.
In fact, if there's raisins in it,
that?
she won't eat it at all.
What's up with that?
So, like, for instance, when I went out grocery shopping like a week and a half ago, they had raisin bread there.
I love raisin bread.
If Sarah was out shopping, she would not buy any raisin bread. I'm like, I'm getting myself some damn raisin bread.
I had raisin bread yesterday, and I'm eating raisins right now.
Well, I just finished it off this afternoon as a mid-afternoon snack.
There's a small bakery nearby. It's just a little old lady who runs it. And she makes this raisin bread. It's a small loaf, like this little half loaf thing of raisin bread. But it's so good. It's so full of raisins. Like it's more raisins than it is bread. And there's also some walnuts in there.
I love walnuts.
Because it's kind of lame when you get raisin bread and it's just like, you know, you cut it near the end and there's just like maybe half a raisin. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all dry.
Yeah.
But this thing is just, she piles in the raisins, walnuts, and some kind of like, I guess there's sugar and stuff in there too. It's so sweet. You can't even butter it. You can't even butter it because the texture is just, it's like trying to butter gravel.
It's just raisins held together with dough.
Yeah.
Awesome.
With a little bit of gluten.
Nice.
I use raisins and everything. Raisin oatmeal, put in raisin cookies. Love raisins. When
I make banana bread, I love putting walnuts in them. But if I do, Sarah won't eat them. I'm eating that loaf all by myself.
For you, yeah.
I got to power through it.
Mm. I gotta admit, I don't like when there's too many nuts inside of baked goods. Sometimes it'll throw it off. Like it's got to be the right combination.
Right. I can put walnuts on top of the bread because then she can easily pick them off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
No, it's not an allergy thing. She just doesn't like it.
She just doesn't like it. It's a
What about
texture thing, she tells me.
yeah? What about dates?
Yeah, she likes Date Square.
Those are good.
Yeah, and she'll buy some Date Square. Who hates it is my mom. My mom called them camel turds when we were kids. Date Square.
Anytime I get a date, I gotta try to eat it like Indiana Jones, throw it up in the air, and then
Right.
Sala catches it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
Huh.
times. All right. Let's start the show. There's tons to talk about. So many
Apparently,
things.
yeah.
Lots of stuff.
I mean, I didn't do anything this week, but there's all this stuff in the outline.
I can't even remember what I did. I better open up my movie list.
I was
So
looking at a picture. Steven Eider put up a picture of his Ectobot, whatever it's called.
Oh, he bought that thing?
Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing, like, no offense to all you Transformers people out there, but I understand the appeal of, like, you can transform it and stuff. But once they're transformed to robot mode, they're just standing there. They're
Yeah, that's all you do with them.
Straight up and down, arms, legs, standing straight. Everybody's at attention.
Yeah. I don't know. You think you should be able to pose them like an action pose or
you'd
something?
think, I mean, it's not 1985 anymore. I understand simple toy for kids. These things cost somewhere between 50 and $100 most of the time that they're buying.
Yeah.
You think you can get a little more articulation other than just, static arm going out?
Can I be honest with a controversial opinion, a hot take, if you will?
Go trash their hobby.
When I was a kid, like I saw the Transformers cartoon before I saw any of the toys. Sometimes you'd see like the odd commercial or that, but the Transformers that were in the cartoon weren't necessarily in the commercial, if that makes sense. Like by the time I was aware of Transformers, I would watch the cartoon and there'd be Optimus Prime and the tape guy, Soundwave,
and Bumblebee,
Megatron,
Starscream, Jazz,
all those guys.
Cliff
Yeah,
Joker.
they would be in the cartoon, right? By the time I became aware of Transformers, the commercials had the toy line had moved on to remember when they made that minivan was like the leader of the Transformers. I can't remember his name.
No, a minivan?
Yeah, it was like a minivan. Like Optimus Prime dies in the movie. Spoiler alert.
You're talking about Hot Rod when he became Hot Rod.
Yeah. Right. But he was a minivan. Well, the toy line had moved on to that. So the only way I could see the toys is when like other kids would bring them into school for show and tell, and they would transform it, and when it would transform into the robot, I mean, I had that image built up from the cartoon. So when I saw the robot, I was like, oh, that looks kind of lame. It looked like they all look kind of flimsy and.
Yeah, the toy line, I had a few as a kid, and it was neat that you could transform it. It'd be a car, and you and turn into the robot. But once it's a robot, it's like playing with a brick. There's no mobility or articulation to it.
Yeah.
All you got to do is not break it and then just transform it again.
I mean, my cousin and I used to play Transformers all the time because I would get the budget Transformers, the little guys.
GoBots they were Transformers, but
yeah, I think Hasbro got fed up of who made the GoBots? I can't remember. Anyways, maybe it was Kenner. Whoever made the GoBots, I think they got fed up with them taking out a chunk of their market. So then they put out budget Transformers of their own. I remember I had it was like a beach buggy thing that would turn into a robot, and I can't remember what else. But anyways, I used to play them all the time, and I did like them and that. But just when I eventually did see the ones from the cartoon, I was always a little disappointed.
Well, as a toy, it's got nothing on He-Man or G.I. Joe. Those were much easier to play with.
That's to me was much more fun. Although I always loved the look of Optimus Prime, just that whole play set with the tractor trailer.
The trailer opens up and
all that.
He had a little a laser cannon or something in there.
There was a buggy in there or something too.
Well, he had Roller. I think that was his name. He was like a little scout that would go out. But then I think the toy had like a laser cannon mounted in there. I might be thinking of something else.
I don't know.
Because I had a Transformers train set, and it didn't have any of the licensed characters, and it was just generic robots and stuff. But you could, there was a coal car because Transformer trains still need coal, and then you'd lift the top off and flip over, and then there'd be a laser cannon in there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Neat. No. Anyways. All right. This month, I want to remind everyone that the Quick Save Club is playing Terraria. Still having a good time with it. Still enjoying it. Sarah's still hooked on it. I think she played it every day this week after she got home from work. CC Prime is playing The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. CC Portable is playing Mega Man 5, and RF Gen is playing Control.
Is it Ocarina or Ocarina?
I don't know. I didn't even know.
Or is that one of those things people have internet arguments about?
Look, I didn't even know how to pronounce it in the late 90s. How do you say this word? I don't know. It wasn't until people started getting YouTube channels and would actually say the word over and over again that I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you say it.
I think you say oot because people like to write it as OOT.
Oh,
So
right.
like
Yes.
The Legend of Zelda.
Right.
Oot.
To Be Trash, that's going to be coming up next week. So we got 3 movies to watch this week. We got Death Promise, Mission Kill Fast, and Hell Comes to Frogtown.
I got to do my homework because I haven't
Me-
watched a single one yet.
Me neither, and I got to get to them. But yeah, this week's looking good for watching movies. May, we got the Arnold Schwarzenegger Conans. That's Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer, and followed up with Red Sonja. And then in June, we have 70s Jack Nicholson, Last Detail, 5 Easy Pieces, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then in July, there's something cooking for July.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk
There's
about
something
that.
cooking. We got to talk about it, but if that comes together, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's a very interesting idea.
Yeah.
But it would
I'm like,
it would require some cooperation from a couple of parties.
Yeah, but if we can get it, I think we'll be all set. Should be
Mhm.
good times.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Just talk. Okay, so a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, Sarah did the grocery shopping, and we came in like about mid to the halfway point in the week on the Wednesday, and it was like the first week that Sarah and I were both home, and we basically ran out of a couple of essentials that we needed to live for the next week and a half. Like we just ran out of, we were running low on milk. We didn't have some other things. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to pick up a few things.
Mhm.
I get there and there was a lineup that wrapped around the side of the building twice. Like it went all the way down one side of the building and they came all the way back up because they had it all roped off. And
It's like
everyone
you're going to Disneyland.
Right. And the line was like a lot longer because everyone was social distancing, right? So there was like 6 feet in between each person.
Oh, so normally the line would be, I don't know, like 20 people deep.
There shouldn't be, normally there would be no line. Like there's
Well,
no
I'm
line. to get
saying
to the grocery store,
if there were such a thing as a line.
Yeah. Yeah. If there was probably about, I would say there was probably about 20 people ahead of me
Mhm.
to get into the store. So they were only allowing so many people into the store at a time. So I get into line and I'm like, okay, well, I'm here. I might as well just wait, and I'm gonna pick up everything that we need for the next week and a half. Like I'm just gonna go and grab like 2 bags of milk and all that stuff.
Mm.
So I was texting Sarah like, hey, what do we need? All this, like we're gonna have to completely change the way that we think about doing any grocery shopping, because I mean you're just wasting so much time, just standing waiting to get into the grocery store. So it took me a half an hour to get in because they were only letting one, like as soon as someone came out, that's when they would let someone else in. So who knows how long the person that's going in there is going to take. And if you're going to go in there, you got to make it worth your while, right?
Yeah.
So Sarah texts me a list of everything to pick up, and while I'm standing there waiting, I wasn't sure how long it was going to take, but eventually it took a half an hour. And as I was getting closer to the end, I was coming back to, so like the end of the line started at the front of the building, right? And you go all the way to the back of the building and then come all the way back up, right? So as you're getting back to the front of the line, the back of the line is just coming up to the place, right? And everyone's asking like, "Hey, how long have you guys been standing out here? How long is it going to take?" Plus, it was a cool day. It was 0 degrees, and a lot of people were dressed. A lot of people were dressed in their spring outfits, you know.
Yeah,
because the day before,
who thinks you're going to stand in line for a supermarket?
Right. Like if anyone who lives around the Great Lakes area knows that the weather at this time of year, it's like one morning, it'll be 15 degrees out, wear a light spring jacket, you'll be fine. And then by 3:00 in the afternoon, it's freezing and it's snowing. You know, that's just how it is here. So it was a bit of a cold snap and there was a wind. So there's a lot of people that weren't dressed for it that were turning around. But it was funny. There was this one old guy. He was proud to announce to everyone that he was 89 years old, and he was around for World War II. He was 10 years old, he was 9 years old when World War II was happening, and he remembers lineups getting into the store and all this stuff, and like zero comprehension of social distancing. Like he was just like going up to everybody and like, buddy, you gotta stand back. Oh, sorry. And then he'd like just go up to the next person. But he only lasted about 5 minutes in the line. But he was just like, man, this isn't as bad as World War II. I remember World War II. You'd stand in line like this for hours and there'd be no food and all that. And it's just, and then he left. It was like, well, you went on about how horrible it was and how you had to go through all this stuff to get food, and you can't even last 30 minutes.
Yeah, he's 89 now.
I know.
He had a little more energy back then.
The thing is too, he could have shown up earlier. I was there. This was like just a little bit after 8:00 in the morning. If he would have showed up at 7.
Old people love going to the supermarket first thing in the morning.
Well, they only allow senior citizens in between 7 and 8, so they can go in and do their grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So he should have showed up earlier. But the other thing too was that it was Easter. It was Good Friday the next day. This was the Thursday before Good Friday, so a lot of people were showing up to get their shopping in before the weekend. So I wanted to ask you: is grocery shopping at all changed over there? Is it just the same, or?
No, it's the same. We don't have the lockdown.
Nothing.
No, people are still going. I mean, some places are starting to do that now. So I think, again, even though we kind of started earlier, we're still playing catch up on some of the basic stuff. A chain of shopping malls recently announced that they were shutting down because people kept showing up. And they're like, we don't need all these people, because they started shutting down some of the stores, but in the mall there's always a supermarket,
right? And
they were keeping that open, but people would just mill around and look around. So they're like, all right, we got to shut this down. And just yesterday we heard from a big department store in our area that's like right in the heart of the city, right by the castle, where they found out one of their workers was what's the word? Infected?
Sure.
Disease?
Yeah. Infected works.
Thank you.
I got the rona.
Someone there had COVID-19, so they shut down, and it was announced on TV and everything just as a special bulletin, because this is a big department store. So they're shut down until further notice. So I imagine some of the places in that area, because it's, again, heart of the city, lots of people heading there all the time, maybe that place is going to calm down a bit, and then we might get an announcement of they got to start locking down some things, which I kind of wish they would, because I know they're not going to do it until it's too late. But as far as supermarkets go, maybe you see like a few people more than usual and buying a few extra things. At least that's what we do. We tend to always just buy a little bit extra, because we know that there's a chance it's going to get hard to get. And like you said, it's just easier if you're out there already. Make the most of your time.
Yeah.
Get not what you would for just a couple of days, get what you would for a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the conclusion we came to. So, I mean, it's Saturday now. Good Friday was, so the last time we went grocery shopping was Thursday. So we're good for one more day. And we're going to have to go out on, well, Sarah will have to go out on Monday. So I still got to go to work. But inside the grocery store, no changes at all? They haven't made any?
Well, there's always been disinfectant at the front of the store. Like most stores, supermarkets have like a little alcohol wipe thing so you can wipe down the handles of the shopping carts and stuff. So now they put a little extra what they can. Although I'm starting to get suspicious of what's actually in these bottles, because I imagine they're going through it a lot faster now.
I think it's just water.
Well, yeah, every time I spray my hands in one of those stores, I sniff at it. It's like, do I get that scent of alcohol? And sometimes not so much. So it could just be like a little residue in there, and then you top it off.
Well, here everything inside is regulated too. Like outside, you got to do. Everyone's doing the social distancing thing. Then when you get inside, there's only so many people. So you can move around in that, but for the most part, people are all in the same areas because they're all getting the essentials. There's just a ton of people in the produce. There's a ton of people in the bakery. I couldn't even get to the deli, but I was lucky that my store is actually still running its deli, because the other two grocery stores and Walmart has closed down their deli completely. So they're the only ones that has a deli that's still running. There's actually
that's got to be a hard thing. Any kind of exposed food.
Yeah. Well, there was people coming up asking if the deli was still open. Like, hey, does anyone know if the deli's still open? Because they weren't going to stand in line unless the deli was open. It was the only deli open in Stouffville. But I couldn't even get to it. There was too many people because they only had the one person working there. And the one person working there was like, okay, I'll take care of this one customer, wrap up all their food or their meat, give it to them. Now I got to go take off the gloves. Now my hands are contaminated. Wash my hands, put on some fresh gloves. Now I could take care of the second customer. So
do they also run a register at the deli, or do you pay for that up front?
You pay for it up front. And most people, what they do is they use they have the unmanned, the robot counter.
Yeah, the auto checkout there. Yeah.
But there were people that were taking it serious. I mean, they were standing in line just to get deli meat and then leave. They weren't picking up anything else. It was crazy.
I miss deli meat. They don't have those here.
But the only thing I get is chicken and turkey, because the other stuff, it's like there's too much nitrates in it. And that, I love it. I grew up Italian, the kielbasa. Well, that's Polish, but like, the capicolo, the salami, the what's that? Can't remember that other really expensive one. Anyways, yeah, I don't bother to get any of that stuff. That's like a treat. If I'm hanging out with my Italian relatives, then I'll indulge. But I like getting my turkey meat, for my sandwiches throughout the week, because I have sandwiches at work all the time. Because there are microwaves at work, but every single one of them is gross. Though they might be cleaner now with hardly anyone there. I haven't bothered to look, but so once you get in there, you're kind of doing the social distancing outside. You get inside, everyone's kind of crammed in all the same areas, picking up all the same stuff. At least there isn't people wandering around just looking around. They put a stop to that, like just people looking at what other people are doing. Because I mean, I got to imagine like nobody's going to stand in that lineup just to walk around the grocery store. Once you get to the checkout line, this is where everything gets crazy again. So they have it marked down on the ground where you can stand, where to stand.
Little footprints, right?
Yeah, behind the other person, you stand here and you stand there. Once you get up to the conveyor belt, you have to wait until the other person completely takes off all of their food, and then you gotta wait for the cashier to finish the transaction. Once they're done, then you can put your stuff up on the conveyor belt, and the cashier actually stands back while you're standing there putting all the stuff on the conveyor belt.
Wow.
And then you got to stand behind a plastic guard, and she will bag all your groceries. There's no self-bagging. She does it all. She bags, all your groceries. No, if you bring in your own bags, you could do it yourself, but she'll just pile everything off to the side. And then she'll have to stand back again while you start putting the stuff in the bags and put it into your cart. And then you got to stand back behind this plastic guard again while she does the rest. It's crazy. It takes forever to get through there, but there isn't a lot of people in the store, so it kind of balances out, right?
I
But
guess.
yeah, it's like if you're, and you gotta, it makes sense because like these people are out with the public, right? It's not like
They got
protecting
people in their
you
faces
from
all
the
the time.
cashier. They gotta look at so many people throughout the day, and the
Yeah,
cashier
they're
wants to be
protecting their
protected.
employees.
Right.
I noticed one of the places we go to, it's a small place, but there are a lot of elderly people that go there. And the last time we went, they had put up, they started hanging plastic sheets around the cashier booth. So basically, you could, put your stuff up, but there's a plastic sheet between you and the cashier.
That's wild.
Yeah, they did that about a month or so ago for some of like donut shops and things that normally you'd be able to take your own stuff. They put those sheets in front, so at least you got to lift it up, put it back down.
That's wild.
Yeah, I don't know. I miss. Do they still have the at supermarkets after they scan your stuff? Do they still put it on the conveyor belt and it would like go all the way down to the end, or is that gone now?
When they would put their stuff on there, I think No Frills does that.
Because I remember that as a kid, like I'd go to a supermarket and you put your stuff, there's like two conveyor belts. There's the conveyor belt to bring it to the cashier.
Yeah.
And then they scan it, they put it on another conveyor belt, it brings it down to the end where you can bag it up.
There's some that I think still have that. I think like the last time I was in No Frills, I'm pretty sure they had that still.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of that. Here they do a lot of self-bagging. So most places you go, you put your cart, your basket up on the counter, they scan it, they put it right into another basket, and then you take that and walk over to the little bagging station. And lately they're really cracking down on the plastic bags. And it's always been the issue where you had to pay a couple cents per bag. But now they're just like, we're getting rid of them. So you got to start bringing your own bags.
It's slowly happening around here, although with the last 2 months, that's kind of been put on hold. But like they've already banned straws, right? Like nobody can have plastic straws. But
Yeah,
soon,
I think that's going to happen here soon too.
Plastic bags will be going the same way. I thought, like when I went in there, I thought you couldn't bring in your cloth bags at all anymore, but you can. You just have to bag everything yourself, which is fine. But it's this whole extra step of the cashier stepping back while you bag all the stuff. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then what do you do when you bring it home? You look at everything and they're like, oh, how many people have touched this?
Oh, I wipe. Okay, so that's the other thing too. I wipe everything down in the car. So I get home. Sarah leaves the wipes out on the driveway, and I open up the garage, and we got a couple of Rubbermaid containers in the garage, and I take everything out of the bag and I wipe everything out of the bag that's in a container, right? So like if the bread it's in plastic bag already, wipe that down, and I put them all in these Rubbermaid containers, and then Sarah takes them upstairs to put them away, and I take all those plastic bags from the garage and I just throw them right in the trash. Boom, Gandhi.
I can think back to several conversations over the years where I talked about my sanitation habits and my paranoia, and now everybody is doing the same thing.
Yeah, well, there was viruses out there that everyone was inoculated with already. You were fine. You had a vaccine, so you were good. So now there is one.
Same thing.
So.
Same thing.
Well, I was always big on hand washing. That was my thing.
Yeah.
Hand wash. Like I've stopped people like leaving the bathroom. Like they come out of the stall. I don't know what they're doing in there, and they start leaving. I'm like, hey, you're not gonna wash your hands. And then every morning too, like I get into that bathroom and I got to kick the garbage can closer to the door so I can throw out my paper towel, because I use the paper towel to open up the door to get out of the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a bunch of idiots that don't wash their hands.
I don't know what kind of animals actually touch things in the bathroom, Because yeah, same thing. I always use that paper towel to open up the door. My favorite is the shopping mall walk around when there's no door at all. You just walk around the corner. You don't have to touch
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Those are
That's
great.
nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Or at the very least, it's got to be a door that opens outwards, so you can just kick it with your foot.
Yeah.
Or
There's
even a sliding door. You can open those with your foot. But anything where it's a knob and you got to like pull it in towards you, which doesn't make sense because I think any public place, it's supposed to be standard practice, at least for the exit. Doors are supposed to open outward in case of an emergency and everybody rushes the door. You can't
uh,
all push up and then like have to
that's
pull
an
back.
exit. It depends. If you're exiting, I took a little bit of drafting in high school. If you're
Mhm.
exiting the building, that's the
Yeah.
case. If you're exiting a hallway, you want the door to open in. You don't want doors to open up into a hallway because if there is an emergency, people are running down the hall, you open up a
Mhm.
door on them, there's an accident, and there's a
Mm.
backup, and then everyone dies in the fire.
Uh, I just like the no door thing. Just
No doors
let me just
is yeah,
walk
that's the
through.
best. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
And it's always been standard practice in my house. At first, I didn't understand it, but my wife made me do this years and years ago. Every time you come in the house, you wash your hands. That's it.
Well, I do that now.
Yeah.
For sure. I do that
You're
now. We
outside,
even
you're touching things, you're all over the place. You walk into your house and you start touching stuff. It's like, nope, that's it. Every time my kids come in from playing outside, go wash your hands. That's it.
even today, we just went out for a car ride. Because Sarah hasn't left town since March 18th. So let's take you out for a car ride. We'll just drive around a little bit.
Mm.
And when we came back, even though we didn't leave the car, we washed our hands as soon as we got back.
There you go. That's what you do. Go while you're touching car door handles and all that stuff.
Yeah, technically there shouldn't be anything on there, but you never know. Maybe somebody with COVID tried to break into your car overnight.
Could be.
Happened before.
3. I still have 3 weeks of vacation time before I'm supposed to go back to work. I've been stuck in this house for so long.
You must be getting out though, doing stuff.
Get out to the supermarket and just whatever we need to buy. And,
Yeah.
And I can go outside,
Yeah, go for a
I
walk.
was cutting the grass and stuff yesterday, but it's just you're feeling like all of your options have been cut.
Well, I tell you, like for instance, it'd be kind of nice to go over to some used record stores or get out there and try to find some used Blu-rays, some Jackie Chan Blu-rays or something like that. But I mean,
You
people on
gotta sacrifice.
TV keep telling me, "Oh, you want to get back to work? You want to get back to normal?" I'm like, "Nah, this is fine. This is great. Keep it going."
I've had
I'm all
those
for this.
days where it's the other day I was like, man, I really want to go to the hobby shop because I could use a new paintbrush. Like, maybe I shouldn't go there right now.
Yeah.
I get that feeling every once in a while. You just want to go to the used bookstore or something.
Yeah, well, we
Go
can't.
around,
I mean,
like,
even if you wanted
now.
to, you can't. And
Yeah.
like you could buy stuff at Best Buy, but you have to order it ahead of time. You have to say like, "Hey, I want these things," and then they'll put it out for you, kind of thing. You can't go into the store and just wander around and browse. Waste some time browsing or whatever.
Yeah. Well, at first, and I suppose still now, that was the one thing I actually enjoyed about this whole thing is because it forces you to stop that casual shopping. Just that I'm bored, so let me go wander around and I'll go buy something.
Yeah.
So you save a lot of money that way.
Yeah.
And you realize, well, I got plenty of stuff around here. I
Yeah.
really don't need to go bring in more stuff.
Tons of things to get to here already. So
Yeah. But I was planning on getting those Conan DVDs because I saw them in the store a while back.
right. Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna get those. And no, because those stores are open, but they're full of people that don't wash their hands.
Yeah.
and
No.
just
No.
hang
Yeah.
around in a bookstore all day. So yeah, all the places that are open that you think, I might want to go there, they're just full of nasty people.
What about takeout? Have you been getting any takeout from restaurants?
Um, More from supermarkets, I suppose, and like
Like
the
the
little
pre-made,
bakery.
yeah, pre-made meals kind of thing.
There, that one supermarket I was talking about earlier, they have uh, a section there where they make little lunch boxes and stuff, and there's some things that come out like once a week that
Mm.
you get, and we get it. We still like the bread place. She leaves her stuff out. It's wrapped up and everything, and I know it's a small place. I kind of trust her, but still, you take it home, you pop it in the oven for a couple minutes, like warm it up, kill anything on the surface.
Right. Yeah. Well, our local restaurants are hurting badly
I
here.
heard your faux story.
Yeah, like people are either too afraid to go out and get takeout, or they can't afford it. Like they're off work, they're not working.
That I think that's the bigger case, yeah.
Yeah. So since Sarah and I are both been working, we've been trying to support our local restaurants and going to get some stuff. This past Wednesday was International or Takeout Canada Day or something like that. And just go out and support a local shop. So even though we had takeout earlier in the week, said, yeah, let's do it. Let's go get some pho at our local pho place. And apparently, like they said, this week it was slow. Like it was very slow. But the week before, they said they had no customers. 0 people came in. I think it's the Asian thing too. Like people got it in their head that Asian people have it. Might be a little bit of racism in there too.
Well, yeah, a little ignorance on their part. It only affects a certain people.
Yeah. But Sarah told them to put their sandwich sign out. You know, the sandwich sign, like the
sandwich board.
Yeah, the sandwich board. Put that out because they haven't been putting that out because they let go of their employees. So it's the owners that are there running the show. And I guess they don't do it as well as their employees. They haven't put that sign out. And Sarah's like, I didn't know you guys were open at all last week. So they have it out there now. So hopefully that's helping them out. Even our local diner, the Fickle Pickle, they've been saying it's really slow. So they've been complaining in the local paper that they want the mayor to do something. I don't know what the mayor's supposed to do. I don't know what they can do. Like you can't force people to go out and take out food.
Yeah, it's just a time for a little bit of hurting for everybody.
I think it was funny when, in a peculiar way, not funny, haha, but when this whole thing was first started, like we saw like on our street alone, like people getting, those Uber services, like people drive up to your house and drop the food off and that. We'd see that all the time. The last couple of weeks, nothing. Because it's expensive, like you end up paying like $10 for a Big Mac,
Yikes.
It's ridiculous because they charge the restaurant has to charge that service more because the service takes a chunk out, right? So they just pass it down to the consumer and then the service charges on top of that. So I don't know who does it. We just go and get our own stuff. Just go get it.
It's a good time to practice your cooking skills anyway. At home, get your basic supplies.
That's the other thing too. Yeah, like you just have a lot of people have more time, so they have more time to cook. So they're not like actually when I was in the grocery store, because I couldn't get to the deli, I picked up a pre-made chicken. They have like these little chickens, and they roast or they do them either rotisserie or they'll roast them or they'll barbecue them. They do them all sorts of different ways. And I was grabbing one. She was like the person behind the counter was telling me that hardly anyone's buying these now because a lot of those that were sold were people that would just come into the store and grab a chicken on their way home, kind of thing. It's just like an easy like, hey, I brought the chicken.
There's dinner. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That's not happening right now. So they're just relying on the people who are willing to wait through line in half an hour to pick these things up. And she was actually saying they were getting like backed up, like she had too many chickens because people weren't.
Right. I imagine there's a lot of waste for some places like that.
So,
you know what you can do with that? Feed it to the tigers.
Did you watch more Tiger
I did.
King?
I got back into it.
Did you get sucked in or what?
Yeah, well, I think when I watched the first episode, I was watching it as a documentary. And then I realized, oh no, I got to watch this as a narrative as the theatrics, the way it's edited and everything. So
Right, watch the Freaks.
yeah, so I got back into it. I finished it off except for that like the last episode is just an interview.
Oh, I didn't watch that either.
After, yeah, I watched like a couple minutes of it and shut it off. But yeah, the whole thing was pretty interesting.
Isn't that wild? Like, yeah, the whole thing was just.
Well, there's so many twists and turns, and you
Yeah.
see where, like, nobody is clean in the entire thing. It's
Exactly.
everybody's got their own pile of dirt and skeletons in the closet and all that.
It's like it's the classic case where, like, you know, if these people were on Judge Judy, she'd throw them all out of the court because her thing is like, when you come to court, your hands got to be clean. You can't be doing anything nasty. You're not going to get any money out of me if you're up to shenanigans. And she would just throw them all out because everybody has some sort of skeleton in their closet that's just ridiculous.
I gotta imagine though that it's probably rough on that woman Carol Bassett,
Yeah,
right now, because
Bassett?
whatever her name is, because of course throughout the entire show they make Joe Exotic like the hero in a sense. He seems to be the main focus.
He's the protagonist for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you find out, you know, what happens with him and everything, but they make him to the point where it's like he's become one of those idols of sarcasm, you know, like David Hasselhoff and Bob Ross. People just look up to him and wear the t-shirts and like, yeah, this guy's awesome. And
Right.
It's just sarcastic praise.
Ironically, being into the Tiger King. Yes.
Right. So now the woman, Carol, was kind of his antagonist. So I imagine there's a lot of people who are now looking down upon her in real life. So a lot of the issues that she had with him, she now has to look out for from just random strangers who watch this show, people who would side with him.
I don't know. They're
I noticed she wasn't involved with that post interview. She may hate this entire experience now.
I imagine so. The thing that killed me is the people who are just enamored with these animals. I don't get it. Like
yeah,
that one guy has
in general.
This one guy has that whole harem of women that, you know, he holds the animals over their head. You know.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? I'm sorry, but I just don't care about tigers that much. Like, I think that they should be, you know, preserved out in the wild and all that. But like, I need to go and pet one. I need to be close to them.
I think I can understand it for some people, where if you just did that and you're like, hey, look, here's a baby tiger, hold it, and then you get this like, wow.
But to the point that you'd be willing to throw your self-respect out the window for to be close to baby tigers? Like,
I don't know. You have to have already achieved a certain level of mentality of like personal responsibility and everything. I think if you're susceptible, you know, if you're still very impressionable and they get you at the right time, because look at I keep wanting to call him Joe Dirt, Joe Exotic.
Joe Dirt is not
all of his husbands. They all had like a similar thing where like he got to them when they were like 19, 20 years old or something.
Yeah.
And he started just getting his lifestyle and his attitude into them, and they were like hooked, you know.
The one husband he had wasn't even gay. He just wanted to have all the benefits of being Joe Exotic's husband.
Yeah, well, I think the first two were like that.
Yeah, maybe it was the first two.
Yeah. I don't know. That's crazy subcultures, man.
Yeah.
It's just
well, and then I found it like how I went from like, okay, Joe Exotic's crazy to Joe Exotic, you're terrible. Joe Exotic, oh man, you're getting screwed over. Oh, Joe Exotic, but you are terrible, so you kind of deserve what's happening to you. Oh, but Joe, like there was just so many, like every episode was like you get a different feeling about Joe Exotic by the end of the episode. You know,
I feel like by the end of the series, they kind of left him off like Han Solo after he saved Princess Leia and he got his reward. and he decided to take off. So it was like, you know, he's got a shady past, but he did some good, but now he's making mistakes again. Like, and you want him to make that leap to the end where he's just like, okay, you know, pay for your crimes, make up for it.
Well, I think what it also shows too is that these people are human people, you know, and we see so many stories in that it's so cut and dry. Like the bad guy has a motivation because he was screwed over when he was younger, or whatever. Like very simplistic stories, and these are, I mean, as simpletons as some of them are, they're still people with complicated stories. It's not all cut and dry, you know. Like there is, like
and
some of
there's
the.
still so much, you know, he got, sorry, spoilers, he gets convicted
Oh my
for
goodness.
what he was involved with.
Yeah.
But there's still so many little secrets that are still within of who started the fire and who did this, and there's all this other stuff that's unclear.
Even getting these people to help them and do things pro bono, and I mean, I could see some of the women that were with that harem guy. I can't remember what the heck was his name. Bagavin. That's how they have him on here on IMDb.
Oh, the Jay Leno guy.
Yeah, the guy that was on Jay Leno. Like his harem. Like I could see like the women feeling for the animals, right? Wanting to, like, because you know, pretty much if they didn't do the work to take care of the animals, nobody else would.
Yeah,
kind of
well,
thing.
that's
So
like that one guy that worked at Joe Zoo with the really long hair.
yeah,
Like, he was there for the cats.
right.
You watch the that, like, the very beginning of that last interview is just like he doesn't care at all about Joe or the other guy or anybody. He's like, just there for the cats.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a great series. I'm glad you stuck with it, and I kept going to kept watching.
It was interesting. I actually went back to Ozark too, because
no.
I didn't want to be that guy, you know. I do think it's pretty fair nowadays with the way TV shows are made. You can pretty much judge it by the first episode because they've got that entire season, that series kind of locked in of like what their story's going to be and what it's going to focus around.
The whole thing's planned out, before they start shooting.
So it's not that episodic, like, oh, you know, this wasn't that great, but maybe next week's story will be better because Captain Kirk's going on a completely different adventure then, you know?
I mean, really, a season of a TV show now is episode 1. Yeah. It's just dragged out.
It's like you're watching your movie, you know?
Right.
So basically, if you're not enjoying the movie and how it's made and the style and the tone, that's not going to change in the next couple episodes. They've already done them, you know? So, but I didn't want to be that guy who just wrote it off after one episode. So I watched another one and I didn't enjoy it. And I started watching the third episode and I was like, this is really stupid. None of this is
made it further than me.
This is completely illogical. Yeah, so I bailed on that and I went back to the Tiger King. I also tried watching this other show, Van Helsing, because I was still on my
that's on Netflix,
monsters and stuff. Yeah,
right.
That's garbage. That is so bad. I made it half an episode.
Yeah, when I was looking for the movie on Netflix, this TV show came up, and I'm like, is this any good? I don't know. So I guess it's not.
Well, I'll give you a hint of how good it is. It's called Van Helsing because the character's name is Vanessa Helsing. And she's not even in the first episode. She's like in a coma. She's just in a coma laying there, and then it's like Call of Duty people versus they're vampires, but they behave like zombies. So it's just vampires are in the streets, but they act like zombies, and it's all like, get in the house, we gotta get in there before they catch us and they bite us. That's it. It was really bad.
I'm sorry if anyone thought that their phone broke or something like that, or that they lost the feed or anything. But that was a real genuine pregnant pause as I tried to wrap my head around Vanessa Helsing.
Yeah. It's clever, right? You can make a TV show out of that.
Something else.
You know what I just thought of? Vanessa Helsing. Let's make a TV show.
Anyways, I just want to say with the takeout, yes, I wipe down everything as it comes in. I wipe it all down now, and then I wipe down all the containers and everything before they come into the house.
Yep. You wipe them down, or a good tip is if you have a package of smaller packages, you can just get rid of that outer package,
The plastic around the thing.
Right. Let's say
Yeah.
you buy a bag of like fun size candy bars.
Right.
You
Get
just
rid of the out. Yeah.
get rid of that other one.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
All right. Well, last week I was also talking to you about Pirate Bay and how it's been down for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Well, this week it came back. Came back with a vengeance too.
Is this one of those chop off the head, a new one grows situation?
Yeah, pretty much. I think they were under attack again, and I think what they did this time apparently was they took a breather and said, "Okay, we're not going to come back right away. We're going to improve a couple of things because the interface has been I wouldn't say very, but a little bit streamed down, and yeah, it's all the HD content's back on there and everything. It's all good times again." I spent a week now with the Cody box, and I'm learning a lot of the shortcomings with the Cody box. Like there's pretty much just one stream, it seems like, for movies, but it's just several different sources that takes it all from one spot. So like you try to okay, let me try this, stream of the movie, and then I'll stream it. And I was trying to find Police Story 4, Jackie Chan's First Strike. And I'm assuming the movie had some sort of foreign language subtitles, maybe German or Russian or something like that. And they didn't want that in the movie. So what they decided to do is just crop the bottom of the movie out.
Ooh. Yeah.
To get rid of the subtitles, or there might have been a watermark there or something that they didn't want it traced back to. And that version of the movie was just every avenue I went down Cody to get this movie. It was that same one over and over again. Thankfully, Pirate Bay came to the rescue, and I was able to just find it on there. I did feel a little bit bad about pirating this movie while I was watching it too, because Jackie Chan was doing all these crazy things and entertaining me, and I thought maybe I should do the right thing and get this legit. So I thought I can't get it on on Amazon right now. I think if I ordered the Blu-ray on Amazon, it wouldn't get here till May 15th apparently. So I said, hey, you know what I'm forgetting is all these streaming, where you can rent movies. You can go on Google or the Xbox and you can rent a movie. Maybe I'll go on there and I'll rent it from there. So I went on there and I saw I found First Strike, and it was $5.99. And I thought, oh, that must be to buy it. I bet you if I click on this, it'll take me to the next window, and I'll be able to rent it for 99 cents. So I clicked on it, and it opened up, and nope, that was the rental price.
Yeah.
$5.99.
Oh my goodness, $5.99.
$14.99 to buy.
How old is this movie? This come out last year?
1996.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, that's not happening. So that was on Google. I went to look on the on Xbox, and it was the same price. I'm like, all right, well, sorry, I'm sticking.
Maybe Jackie Chan's a little tired of people downloading all of his movies for free.
Maybe I don't
money
know.
Somehow.
Well, no, that seemed to be the going rate for every movie. To rent a movie, it was $5.99, $4.99. Some were on sale for $3.99 to rent.
Well, if people keep bootlegging, they gotta do what they gotta do to make their money.
I guess, I don't know, but even
or it could be they're not jacking their prices during this whole pandemic, are they?
I don't think so. No, I think what it is, the prices are set to retail copies, right? Because it's the same thing with video games. They kind of have to set their digital price the same as the retail price, because they can't have the retail market competing against the digital market on top of it. It's another layer of competition, and then they piss off the realtors who are trying to sell this game. And meanwhile they're being undercut by their own company. So they work out, it's all set to the same price. But anyways, even like, I don't know, it was just too expensive.
Yeah, I'm looking. I just went to YouTube and typed in that, and you can buy it on YouTube for 2,000 yen, or approximately $20, or you can
Right.
rent it for about $4.
Yeah.
Seems really high.
That's way too high for me. 99 cents I would do all day long. I'd be like, okay, sure, yeah.
Well,
Why
that's
not?
what it's supposed to be, right?
I
Especially for a
think
movie that old.
to rent, just to rent
Yeah.
it, like just to have it for a moment and then you give it back. Or,
Yeah, and you rent it, you're getting it for a day, 2 days.
I think, yeah.
I mean,
I think even,
you're renting a digital copy. You're
yeah.
getting temporary access to a file.
And it costs them nothing. It's some web hosting
Yeah.
to have it up there, and I don't know.
Mm.
It was, yeah, I don't know. Wasn't too happy with that pay structure. So went back to the Pirates. And then there's some stuff that you just can't find too, right? That I've been watching on there. So
You should get a cutlass and like an eye patch every time you download something from there.
I'm a modern day pirate.
Yeah.
Not a throwback.
Somalian pirate.
Anyways,
one of those Captain Phillips pirates.
Did we do your
did you
TV
see that,
talk? Was that
did you
TV?
see that? No, did you see that Tom Hanks, best Tom Hanks movie poll that was
Yes,
posted on Twitter?
Sean posted, yes.
Yeah. Buzz, 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 buzz. Sean posted it. And I realized I haven't seen a lot of Tom Hanks movies.
Oh, we should do a Tom Hanks month then.
There's like 32 things there, and I haven't seen 24 of them.
Which ones of them have you seen?
Oh, you make remember.
Don't
All
remember?
right.
Okay.
So, I imagine that's 8. So I have seen Big. I have seen Forrest Gump. I have seen The Burbs.
I haven't seen
A League of Their Own. Castaway.
Great movie.
Captain Phillips.
That's a good one.
2 more. Whatever they are. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of I haven't seen Apollo 13. I haven't seen Saving Private Ryan. I haven't seen pretty much anything new that he's done. I haven't seen the Da Vinci Code movies.
Pass on those. You don't need to see those.
Yeah, that's why I have.
Yeah, I think you got all the really good ones. I'd also recommend The Green Mile. That was a good one. If you haven't seen that. Okay, I got the list here now. It's just really tiny. Blow it up here. You Got Mail.
Nope.
That's a romance chick flick. You don't need to see that. Saving Private Ryan.
Haven't seen it.
That Thing You Do. Apollo 13. Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
I know I've seen part of that, but I don't know if I've seen the whole thing.
I haven't watched it in a very long time. We just picked it up on it was on sale on Blu-ray. So I need to watch it again. Sleepless in Seattle.
Nope.
I don't really need to see that one. Although Sarah loves it. I don't know if you're into romantic comedies, maybe it's A League of Their Own that we did.
Yep.
Joe versus the Volcano. That's not a good one. Turner and Hooch.
Nope.
I used to watch that all the time when I was a kid. The Burbs I haven't seen yet.
I like The Burbs. Burbs is fun.
I started watching The Burbs. I recorded it on my PVR, and I was really enjoying it. And I was surprised to find out that it was Joe Dante who directed the movie, director of Gremlins
and you got
2.
Dick Miller in there and Bobby Picardo. They got their little cameos.
Yes. So I was enjoying it. But then as I was watching it, a commercial came up. I realized I recorded it off of a network that like had commercials in it, and it just kind of ruined the flow of the
vibe.
Ruined it. I'm like, I don't know
goodness.
if this has been edited. I don't know if stuff's been taken out. So I really want my first viewing of The Burbs to be on commercial TV. I don't know. So I stopped it right there, and
got Princess Leia in it.
I'm gonna have to get back to it. So Big, you said you saw.
Yep.
Dragnet.
Nope.
That was another one we had on tape as a kid. I used to watch all the time. I don't know if it holds up now. The Money Pit.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Okay.
I haven't seen that. I hear it's not
Uh,
very good. That's why I haven't seen it.
when I was a kid, I watched it, and it was funny because like, oh, he falls down a lot and stuff. But as a whole, meh.
See, Sarah says the same thing. I never get around to watching it.
Yeah, it's all right, I guess.
Bachelor Party.
Oh,
I can't remember if I've seen that one or not. Splash.
oh,
Yeah, I've seen that. That's good. It's a good movie. Splash is good.
Mermaid, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ron Howard directed it. You got your John Candy in there and Eugene Levy. It's a good movie. The Green Mile.
Oh.
Fantastic. Castaway.
Yeah.
Road to Perdition. You
Nope.
seen that one? That one's pretty good. Catch Me If You Can.
Nope.
That's a good one. The Lady Killers.
Nope.
The original with Alec Guinness. The original British version from the 60s with Alec Guinness is better. The Terminal.
Oh yes, okay, that's the one.
I don't think
There
I've
you
seen
go.
that one.
Those
Maybe
are
I
the
have.
Money
Da Vinci-
Pit and The Terminal. Those are the two that I forgot.
So Da Vinci Code, Charlie Wilson's War. You can skip
Nope.
those. I didn't care for either of those. Larry Crown, I don't think I've seen. Captain Phillips is a good movie.
That was good. That was really good.
Saving Mr. Banks. I don't even know that one.
Nope.
Bridge of Spies. I don't know that one either.
No. I want to see
This-
the Mr. Rogers one, but like all the other recent stuff, I don't know. And then there's like a new one he's got coming out where he's like it's like a naval commander. That one looks like it might be fun.
I don't know. Sounds good. Sully.
Nope.
I didn't care for it. Sarah really liked it though. A Hologram for the King?
No, you're into like the newer stuff now, so
I
none
don't
of
know
this.
that one. The Post? Man, there's
That was a
bunch of movies I
newspaper
wrote.
one, right? That was
Was
like
it?
the Spielberg made that, I think. Is like he wanted to
Spielbergo?
have it out during the Trump era,
Oh, really?
something like that. It was all about political scandal and breaking the story or something.
And A Beautiful Day. Well, my bracket came down to A League of Their Own and Castaway, and I couldn't decide, so I didn't. So, I'm just gonna leave it. I mean, what's the point? I don't have to do this. No one's holding a gun to my head.
League of Their Own is more of a Gina Davis movie, though. Is it like Tom Hanks has to be the lead? Well, technically he is the lead, but like he's the top billed. But
I don't know.
has he ever been in a movie where he wasn't top billed?
Well, it's debatable. I mean, he got it's kind of stupid, but he got an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Best supporting.
Yeah, it's so there were so many good lead actors this year that almost all of the best supporting actors that were nominated for an Oscar this year, you could easily make the argument that they were actually the lead in the movie. So, because the movie actually the person's story is a person that Fred Rogers is trying to help. That's what the movie's about, right?
Okay, so
So he's like the guy that comes in.
So there is another character who's supposed to be
the story
main.
kind of centers around him, right?
Okay.
Right? Like the movie isn't about Fred Rogers. It's about this other guy, right? So, but I mean, Tom Hanks is the lead draw.
Right.
He's
You
like
got to
the main-
market it as a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah, I get it. Okay, we spent like 20 minutes listing off the names of Tom Hanks.
Hey, that was fun. I like Tom Hanks. I'll talk about Tom Hanks movies anytime.
I saw him on Family Ties. I saw him on Bosom Buddies.
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you, if Matt Bandy wanted to start a podcast where we just drink tea and talk about Tom Hanks movies, I'd be down for it. I'd be down. All right. Oh my goodness, we've been talking for an hour already. You're right.
Yeah.
This has been okay. Let's wrap this up. Go for it. Toonstruck 2.
Toonstruck 2. Oh, I finished Toonstruck,
Yeah.
and very good game. Big thumbs up. Really enjoyed it. A couple little things I noticed about the game as I was playing it is, when you play a point and click, you run your mouse over the screen and it'll highlight when there's something you can interact with. And typically
Yes.
it only does that when it's something important to the game. Like
Right.
you're not going to highlight something that has absolutely no use. Or sometimes, it's just background, like, hey, there's a bunch of books there or something. But I noticed a couple times it seemed like things were highlighting, because in this game, when you put the cursor over, it'll either turn into a magnifying glass, like look at this, a little thing of chattering teeth, like you can talk to this person, or like a hand, like you can pick this up or manipulate it in some way. And there were a couple of times where it would turn into a hand or a magnifying glass, and it was like, okay, there's something I have to do there, but it wouldn't let me do it. I was like, it turns to a hand, and I try to pick it up, but it's like, nope, I don't need that. Like, okay, that's weird. And when I finished the story, it wrapped up, but I felt like there were a couple of loose ends. There were a few interactions with characters that maybe you should have had as an ending, a little bit of like, oh, thanks for helping and stuff like that. But it didn't happen. It still ended, but it felt a little rushed a little bit at the end. And there were a couple of things that looked like things that you could be able to do, but you couldn't do anything with them. There were little like signs of evidence there was something you could do there. So I thought that was kind of weird, and it took me a while to get through the game because I kept thinking there was more that I was supposed to do.
Right.
Apparently, finished the game, looked up a little bit about it, and apparently, when they were making this game, there's a lot of hand-drawn animation in this because he's stuck in a cartoon world, and it started to get really expensive and it started to take a long time. So what they did is they cut the game in half, and they took half the content and made the first game, and then they were going to take the second half and make that into a sequel. Only problem is the game wasn't marketed very well, didn't sell a whole lot, even though it was good. So there's like a whole second half of this game that's just out in limbo somewhere.
Wow.
It was supposed to be like, and there are a couple of screenshots online. You can go and find some of the images. And it made total sense then after I was looking at it, because like there are some scenes in the game where it looks like there's more you're supposed to do. There's even one room you go into and there's a bookcase and there's little scuff marks on the floor to make it look as if it's a revolving bookcase and it's large enough where Christopher Lloyd could go in there. And I was like, well, I was waiting for that. I was like, what's going to happen? So it was probably something that led to another portion of the game that ended up being scrapped for that. So it's kind of sad that there's this really good game and a lot of stuff done for a sequel that's just never going to see the light of day. They did do a, like trying to sign a petition, get it released and all that, but the audience just isn't there. So doubtful it's ever going to happen. It's a shame because when you play the game, you get to see Christopher Lloyd kind of half-heartedly give a performance, and it's really entertaining. So.
Oh, that's like Shatner in those old Star Trek games. Like you could tell he did one take for those live action moments in those old Star Trek games and got his paycheck and moved out.
Yeah.
Do you know if the actors did their lines for the second part?
I don't know. I imagine so, because it says like they filmed all that stuff. So I imagine they have all Christopher Lloyd stuff. And they probably recorded a lot of the dialogue, at least most of it, but it was like the animation and stuff that was taking forever. So.
You never know. It might get, like, if they have all those assets in the bank somewhere, you never know. Like, coming up with new drawings and that's something that I won't say anyone could do, but a new talent could fill in.
Yeah, well, I think it's just they need to get the financing.
Yeah.
And, they got to guarantee, like, we can sell X amount of copies. And so it's a shame, but it's a good game. So if you like those Monkey Island games and stuff, and you're into something like that, Toonstruck is solid.
It's hard for me to buy it though.
Moments.
When I missed out on it, getting it for free.
I know. I feel exactly the
it.
same way. I knew, like, oh, that was free, and now I got to pay 99 cents for it on sale.
I would pick it up for 99 cents. 99 cents.
Well,
okay, what's ASOBAH?
Oh, do you want to hear about this?
Yes. Please tell me what ASOBAH is.
Okay, I've been doing my research into the mini wargaming and all that,
Oh,
and
I
I've
don't
been
want to hear
trying
about
to.
this. You're right.
I've been
Okay.
trying to go through the
Follow
Warhammer
Retro
rule book and
Fandango on
everything.
Twitter at
There's a
retro
great
underscore.
game that I just downloaded the rule book for. It's called the original game was called Song of Blades and Heroes, but then they updated it to Advanced Song of Blades and Heroes. So ASOBA8, something like that. Anyway, it's a new set of rules that does a wonderful thing where it's like in the Warhammer and stuff, you got to have this whole big army, and it makes sense. Like you're playing as elves and I play as like knights or whatever, and it makes sense that your army's all the same. But you got to have a lot of models for that. You got to have like 20 different guys with spears and 10 different guys with crossbows or whatever.
You can't just use a bottle cap and say this is my knight.
You can, but you want to get into the mood.
I see.
So anyway, I was looking for a game that would let me just use a couple different characters. They call them skirmish games, where you just have a couple different characters. And I wanted it to be like, I could just have anything. I didn't want to have like everybody of the same army and everybody of the same style. Because usually when you move a unit, they all have the same characteristics. Like they all have the same attack and the same defense and all that. But this game allows you to put whatever you want on there. It's like I could have my team could be a knight and a werewolf and a vampire or whatever, and you could have like I don't know, like a dozen bats or something, or whatever you want. And it's great because a lot of the other games that I was looking at seem to be watered down versions of Warhammer and just kind of simplified, and it felt like I don't want to play a watered down version. So this game is like its own unique thing. It's got a completely different game mechanic, and it seems like it's something that's easy for me to get my kids into. And I watched a couple of videos of people playing it. It looks really fun. So I just downloaded the rule book yesterday. So I started reading through the lore of the land, and I'm gonna learn all the mechanics and
Get that lore in you.
measure distances and roll dice and stuff.
Are you gonna buy those Star Trek figures that you can paint?
I might.
Is that based on a game too? Like you put
That's
those
its
in a
own
game?
game. Yeah, it's its own thing, and it's really expensive. Like a box of those things, you can get Next Generation, you can get Original Series, you can get like Klingons and Borg and stuff, and that's got its own thing. I'm not really interested in learning a new game, but I might want to paint up a box of Borg someday. That could be cool. They got Klingons. Looks fun. I don't know. I'm enjoying the mini painting. I've already got like 6 done, and I started up 4 more. So.
Did I ever tell you in high school, we had a history fair, and I did a mock-up of the Tower of London.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to enhance my Tower of London mock-up, I decided to put some figures in there. Just like some medieval-looking dudes. So like some guys with some swords and shields and bows and arrows and that. And I put those all into my makeup. And it was done with like toilet paper rolls and construction paper and all that. And then I put these guys in there. I had no idea that I think they were Warhammer guys. I don't know. Was Warhammer around in the early 90s? Is that a thing?
I think so.
It was some sort of like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought I did a pretty good job, but there were some other ones out there that were like really good. Like really, like some people put like tons of stuff in them. But for some reason, I got first place.
Hey, look at you.
And I think one of the judges was into the Warhammer stuff and all that. And I swear to you, like after this had happened to me, this would have been, I think, at the end of the first semester. So it was either at the end or anyways, like maybe a couple of months later, that episode of The Simpsons came out where Ralph Wiggum just puts out those Star Wars figures for his fair project or whatever, and Principal Skinner gives him like first place.
Right.
I'm like, oh my god, that is me right there. I'm Ralph Wiggum. Yeah.
What a
I
nerd.
had those
nerd you are.
guys for a long time too. I didn't paint them or anything. I just left them all like they were pewter, I guess. So I just left them like that.
Ooh, old pewter figures.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
It's fun times. I'm looking forward to it.
Right. Oh, that was the other thing too. You were supposed to do everything yourself. Like you weren't supposed to like buy things and put them in there. But
yeah. you bought yourself an A.
Well, I didn't know that. I don't think I knew that at the time. All right. I want to talk about movies. I mean, I know we talked about Tom Hanks for a bit, but I did watch a few movies in here. I've been watching the Police Story series with Jackie Chan that I talked about the last time. Unfortunately, as the episodes or as the movies go on throughout time, they kind of get a little lamer with every installment. Super Cop was pretty good. That came out in 92, and it was still a fun action movie. But the next one was First Strike, and First Strike came out in 96. That one was they were trying to make Jackie Chan an international star more than just a star of Hong Kong. So in the Police Story movies, he plays, it's Kai Kui Chan or Chan Kai Kui. I'm not sure. Like they put sometimes I see it written that way, and then other times I see it the other way. I'm not sure if they put the last name first, whatever. Anyways, in First Strike, which is Police Story 4 First Strike, he is Jackie Chan. They take the Kai Kui and they throw it out there. You could tell like they wanted to make him, an international star, and they kind of wanted to have their cake and eat it too. So they made him like he's more goofy, like he's very like overacting a lot of things. Like there's a lot of like he gets thrown into some freezing water, and he's constantly like trying to warm up his hands and that. He's like really trying to ham it up. He's not playing Kai Kui anymore. He's actually playing like he is the hammy Jackie Chan. And the story doesn't really make too much sense. They keep throwing back to like one of the recurring characters in the movie is Uncle Bill, and Uncle Bill is like the guy that he's a little bit of comic relief. And in this movie, Jackie Chan is like not in Hong Kong. He's like a Hong Kong police officer in the previous movies. And this one, they have him going all over the world. Like he is in the Ukraine at one point, then he's in Australia, and he's just being international star. They even make jokes about him being like James Bond in the movie. Like, and you can kind of tell that they're trying to change the character into more of this James Bond international spy. But it's funny, he keeps calling Uncle Bill. Like he'll call Uncle Bill at Hong Kong and tell him how things are going. And it's almost like as if they wanted to like, hey, yeah, like this series is going off and doing all these things, but we still have our roots in Hong Kong and we'll still call Uncle Bill. I wonder if they had like some sort of rule, like they wanted funding or whatever in Hong Kong, like there had to be so much Hong Kong content or whatever. And it was almost like as if the phone calls back to Uncle Bill were, I don't know, because Canada has like these weird rules too, like that's how Bob and Doug McKenzie started on SCTV. There needed to be, if they wanted funding from the Canadian government, they needed like something uniquely Canadian for the Canadian audience. That was an additional 2 minutes in the show. They only had to give like the Americans like so much time, and they needed 2 additional minutes to Canada, and that's what they filled it with, was Bob and Doug McKenzie, who became bigger stars. But then the next movie came out in 2004. It's called New Police Story, and they reboot it completely. And it's like it takes a more serious tone. It almost feels like as if it's like the Dark Knight of the Police Story series.
How can a Jackie Chan movie have a serious tone?
It's very awkward. It's very weird. Like anytime, like I skipped over Crime Story, which is like a spin-off in the series where he plays a different character again, but for some reason it's considered a police story movie. And in Crime Story, it takes a more serious tone too. And both times, like he does it, like his like style, choreography, and that it's always goofy. Like there's always goofy things happening. Like even in Crime Story, like he's doing this thing where, like like there's people dying, there's all the serious stuff, and it takes a serious tone, and then like the choreography starts with the fights and that, and like it's all like people bouncing, and you know, I don't know, it just doesn't work as well as it
Yeah.
does when it's fun and goofy, you know.
Yeah, Jackie Chan movie, I think lighthearted, don't take it seriously, just sit back and enjoy the roller coaster.
Yeah, that was the other thing too with First Strike. I know I'm jumping around a bit, sorry, but a lot of the James Bond stuff in that was like with, you know, like snow machines. They had some like this whole bit with snow machines and helicopters and that. And what you really want with Jackie Chan is just that choreography where he's just fighting a bunch of dudes in a room, you know, and they just does some wacky stuff. And in First Strike, there's this one really cool scene where he picks up, he gets in a fight with a bunch of guys and he picks up a stepladder and he's like doing all these crazy stunts and everything with the stepladder. Like he's jumping through it and the bad guys are
Oh
jumping.
yeah, I've seen
around,
that. Yeah.
spinning it around and he's thing. And you know how at the end of the movie, at the end of the Jackie Chan movies during the credits, they always show like the outtakes and everything, like how they put the stunts together. It's almost like a mini documentary without any words or anything about how the movie was made, you know?
Yeah, he does. I mean, bloopers at the end of a movie are kind of corny in most regards, but he does it as a PSA of like, you see what I had to go through? You see how I almost killed myself? Don't try this.
Not just him, but all the people that worked on the movie too. Like like he does a lot of his own stunts, if not mostly all of his own stunts. But like all the other crew in that too, like all the other people doing it, just how many takes they have to do everything in that. Well, at the end of First Strike, they do that. And I would say probably about 80 to 90% of the outtakes were of him doing the stuff with the ladder, you know. And this was like 5 minutes out of the hour and 20-minute long movie. The rest of it was just like
he took that. He's like swinging it around his neck and he's flipping it up in front of his face and you know, going through it and everything. Yeah,
I imagine you could find it on YouTube. It's incredible to watch. It's really good. Anyways, new Police Story comes out 2004. He's kind of slowing down a bit. He was 50 when this one came out. Not too much, but there's some fun scenes in it. But it takes, it's like a really weird, serious tone. Like they're like the movie opens up, and it's him getting tricked to bring. It's himself, and he's all cocky in front of the media and that. He's like, there's these bad teenagers that are out there, and they kill a cop, and they're doing all these bad things. They're breaking into banks and all that. And they're like, Jackie, what are you going to do? How are you going to stop this thing? He's like, I'll have them arrested in 3 hours. So these bad guys, these bad teenager guys are like really pissed off at him. They're like, we're going to show him. So it's the first like 30 minutes of the movie is it's himself, and he brings these 9 other police officers with him. And it's just these kids torturing these 9 other police officers. Like they just mow them all down. And Jackie's getting like, he's all depressed and everything. He's drinking and all that. I'm like, man, this is like way too heavy of a movie for Jackie Chan. Like, it's just, I don't know. But then the last half of the movie kind of picks up and he's jumping on buses and stuff again. And it gets pretty good. And the main villain, the antagonist in this movie is the guy who played, what the heck's his name? Sonny in Badlands. I know you haven't watched Badlands, but the people who have watched know who I'm talking about. And he's young. He's like from 2004. So it's kind of cool to see him around doing a movie back in 2004. It was good. It was, when he gets back to all the action and stuff, that's like, there was one scene in this movie where it was like one bungee cord rope, and the one bad guy hooks up his BMX bike onto this bungee cord rope, and he goes down the side of a building. Like he throws down the rope, it gets attached on the thing, so it's like it's slowing down his momentum as he goes down the side of this building on this BMX bike. And then the next bad guy gets on the same bungee cord, follows him down while he's holding down and slowing himself down. And then Jackie Chan grabs like his cuffs, and he hooks them onto the bungee cord, and he's just holding onto these cuffs, and he's going down the side of the building. And then his Jackie Chan's partner gets behind him, and he grabs like this baton that he had, and he wraps that around the cord, and he's going down the side of the building with just this like holding onto this baton and going down like because the bungee cord is wrapped around the baton, it's slowing down his momentum. And it goes to the shot, and it's 4 people going down the side of this like 30-story building, and they're all just like slowed down on this one bungee cord.
Jeez.
So of course, at the end of the movie, like 80% of it is like them showing them how they did this stunt, and they were harnessed, with other cables and that they took out digitally, but still, like they were going down the side of the building just with the momentum of this cord, and they're all just like attached to this one bungee cord.
Yeah, I don't care how many harnesses you have on you. You're
like
jumping off the side of a building.
Well, even like Jackie, like he was going, or the one guy, Jackie went down thing, but his partner was going down like head first, and it was like they were showing him like he's holding on to this thing, and they're like getting him ready to push him over the building, and he's just like, like you could see he's like psyching himself up because he's going to be going down head first on the side of this building, holding onto the bungee cord. Incredible stuff, man.
There you go. All of my potential plans for watching movies are scrapped now because I have to go watch all the Jackie Chan clips I can find on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah, no, man, it's really incredible stuff, man. I love that kind of stuff, man, and just how they do it afterwards. It just it gets me. Like I'm watching the beginning of this movie, and I'm like, okay, this is the first police story that I can't watch, and then they get to that stunt, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is why I'm here. This is it.
That's it. I mean, when the stunts are real and the people that are doing the martial arts and stuff can actually do it, that's all the difference. You can watch another movie where they do all the CG and the wires and everything, and it's just some actor who's, quick cuts, show all this. And, it looks like garbage. But when the guy is actually doing it, and realism.
Like there's, real potential that they'll hurt themselves, Good times. All right. I did watch some other things. Maybe I'll just quickly mention TMC had this thing on Sidney Poitier. That's how you say Poitier? Poitier. I've seen they were broadcasting a bunch of his movies one day. I'd seen most of them, but the 2 that I picked up that I hadn't seen before were Edge of the City and A Raisin in the Sun. Both of them are fantastic. Edge of the City, if you see it, record it. It stars John Cassavetes as this guy who's down and out, and he picks up a job as a dock worker in New York City. And Jack Warden is his the guy that Jack Warden plays, like this guy that gets him in, like gets him the job in the place. And Jack Warden wants like just a great heavy in any movie, right? Like he's just like this despicable guy. And anytime, like I think, what did we watch? It was it was a Burt Reynolds movie, a Western, where he was a miserable prick in that too. Anytime he's in it, he's playing a bad guy. Just great. He wants to take a piece of the guy's earnings because he got him the job at the place. John Cassavetes has a secret that he can't let anyone know. So he, and Jack Warden kind of figures out his thing. So he kind of has to do this thing, but then he wants to work with Sidney Poitier, and Sidney keeps trying to help him, and then it gets into a big fight and all that. It was a really good movie. Really enjoyed it. And then A Raisin in the Sun. That's about this black family who's living in this one was in 1961, and they're living in the ghetto. They're trying to get out of the ghetto, and they come into some money. It's a family with the mother and the father had just passed away, and she's living there with all of her adult children and her grandson. And the father passed away. He's got some money in a will, and they get $10,000. So this is their ticket out of the ghetto. They can get a home. They can put down a down payment in a nice home in a suburb. And so that's what they do. She goes out, she, puts down a down payment, and it's in a white neighborhood. So then
Uh-oh.
the committee comes in and says, "Hey, we hear you're looking to move into this home. We'll actually offer you more money than what you paid for it, what you paid for the house, for you to not buy this house. We'll buy it instead, just so you don't move into the neighborhood." And at one point the son is for it. That's who Sidney Poitier plays, and mom who's moved down up from the south, who grew up on the plantation and all that. It is a really good movie. It's based on a play. I find any movie that's really based on a play, I kind of have a soft spot for. I love any movie that kind of takes place in basically one or two rooms.
12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men is one.
Great one.
Lifeboat. Hitchcock loved them. Rope. That's another one. I love any movie that can captivate me without a lot going on. That could just be just people sitting down talking. You get a lot of character development in that.
Mm-hmm.
But just excellent movie. Excellent acting. There's this Claudia McNeil. She's the one who plays the mom. She didn't do anything else other than this movie, and she's fantastic in it. And then Ruby Dee, who later went on to star in Cop and a Half with Burt Reynolds. She's excellent in it too. She's always playing Sidney Poitier's wife, but excellent movie. If the TCM, what is it, TMC, Turner Classic Movies, whatever it is, if they air them again, make sure to set your PVR for them because they were fantastic. Anything with Sidney Poitier is really good, but those two were excellent as well.
I started watching Death Race with Jason Statham.
Oh God. Was it any good?
Not really.
Yeah.
It looked like a stupid premise, and I was like, this might be stupid enough to be good. And then I saw it was directed by my boy Paul W.S. Anderson.
Oh, there we go. Well,
there you go. And he has a way of polishing those turds to make them palatable. But yeah, no, I'm only like halfway through it or so.
Listen, sometimes watching a bad movie is good because then when you watch the good movie, you understand why it's good.
Yeah, you can learn a lot from a bad movie.
I tell you, last month I just watched a bunch of bad movies, and this month it's been like hitting the home runs, and you appreciate them more. After that bad streak, you appreciate the hits more. It's good times.
Get ready to appreciate because next week is To Be Trash.
Oh yes. Oh, have you ever tried watching The Artist?
What is that?
Black and white movie. It's like a silent film throwback. It won Best Picture in 2011. It won a ton of awards actually in 2011. A bunch of Best Actors and Actresses and Director, I think, and Cinematography. It won a bunch of awards.
Maybe I heard about this back then. There's something a little familiar about it, but I've never seen it.
Well, here's my review of it. Silent but deadly. That's what I put down. I couldn't sit through. I think I made 10 minutes in. It's about movies in the silent film era, and it's like there's this love story going on between this guy and this woman, and he's a movie star, and she's like a what do they call a stand-in at first, and he catches her eye and all this stuff. But the whole movie is done like a silent film. Like all this stuff that's going on about the people who are in the silent movie are acting things out like they're in a silent film.
Lots of that, overacting, big gestures.
Yes. Yeah. And I just could not get into it. I just, that was my strikeout from this week. I had to get rid of that.
No Buster Keaton, jumping on a train or anything.
No, I think I could get into the comedy stuff when it comes to the silent films. I think I could get into that, but that's not for me.
A lot of piano.
The whole thing was piano, yeah. Actually, I think they had orchestra, actually, because the people who were watching the movie were in a fancy theater that had a full-on orchestra.
The orchestra.
The music won Best Music Score too.
Oh, that's all I got, right?
Pretty much. Also, I rewatched Night Shift and First Blood. Both of them get big thumbs up from.
Oh, poor Brian Dennehy.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
there.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Right. You can go read my blog post on First Blood.
I did. I was happy to see my name in there.
I put your name in there? What's wrong?
You
with
tagged the.
Oh, that's right.
On Rambo.
That's right. Sure, it won't get us a single additional listen, but that's fine. And I was surprised. Like I rolled it down a little bit, and I was like, "Oh man, the episode's 3 hours long." Did we really do 3-hour episodes back then?
Yeah, we did 4 movies, plus our normal just banter about everything.
That's right. Yeah, we had 2 guests. Crazy talk.
Yeah, we got to go back to doing those. Go on and on and on and on.
Can't do it. All right. Speaking of going on,
we did an hour and a half here on nothing.
I know. That's enough. I'm ready to get out of here. This is good. Happy.
Blah, 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 blah. Where's the outline? Hey, follow Retro Fandango on the Twitter. Retro_Fandango. Get a boner with Retro Fandango. Discord. What's the Discord address?
You got to get an invite to the Discord. So you got to ask me for an invite.
Address.
I don't know. There's no address. It's not a web-based thing. It's like a client and server thing, I think.
I don't understand it. Talk to Kevin on the Discord.
Or on Twitter.
And watch those. And watch the Tubi Trash movies. We're doing that next week. Death Promise, Mission Kill Fast, Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Get on the Discord when you watch them.
Movies.
Get on the Discord when you watch them and let us know what you thought. And maybe we'll talk about what you said. Tubi's free. The app is free. Put it on your Xbox. A couple of people
actually put up the title screen, so they might have watched more.
Yeah,
you got comment. Come in there.
Hodge, I saw you put up Hell Comes to Frogtown. Let us know what you thought of it.
On his fancy TV.
Yeah. It's good times.
Yep.
All right.
Boom. Done.
Fandango.